right? So today, Michael and I are talking about particular decisions about on passive. On passive is the right choice. On passive is the decision that so many of us have made years ago to be part of. And today we'll dive deep in a little bit of those some of those decisions where personally we don't actually make those decisions, but we see that our CEO, the tech team, and the people involved behind the scenes are making those decisions. And so those are the things that Michael and I want to talk about. What's your thought on this particular topic, Michael?
Yes, decision making, making the right choices in life, that's really at the core of our being, right? Majority of people, I'm not going to say all, but the majority of people, want to be successful in life, right? At whatever their endeavor may be, right? Whether they want to be successful in the workplace, they want to be successful from a social standpoint. Maybe have a business that they've started and want to be successful in that. Or they play sports, etc. People usually, right? Usually, let's say 99% of the time, they usually want to be successful, and so that has a lot to do with the choices that we make in life. And we've seen so many people over the years that have made wrong decisions, and it can be something that impacts you for a long time, like for years, right? So it's so important for us to really take a look at what our options are, before making that decision, right? Because that it tends to help us in the end, right? If we can take our time, be patient, make the right decisions, that usually augurs well for us as we move forward.
Absolutely, Michael. We, as we are sitting here talking about the decisions of when Mr. Ashmufar, our CEO, and his wife, I believe it was somehow, somewhat about 10 years ago, when they are thinking about it. The decision for them to create on passive, it's a long-term decision. It's a high-level decision with lots of love in it, and not only lots of love in it, but how much they care for the world as a whole. And so when they make the decisions uh, to moving forward with creating on passive, the decision that literally determined the directions to do or die, that has a lot of forethought and a lot of care to it. And so that is the reason why you and I and so many of our friends are here talking about it, Michael, the decision of creating on passive.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that he did. Uh, because it's certainly one of the best decisions I have made, throughout my life, to certainly in being involved with On Passive. So, I'm certainly glad that Mr. Mafara and his family decided to go down that path. And that's a path that has arisen, from a need standpoint, right? And being involved himself with businesses, etc., and just seeing the corruption that is out there, seeing how people are failing time and time again when it doesn't have to be that way, right? It's one thing if there was no alternative, there's no choice, it has to be this particular way and that's it. But that's not the case, right? Business owners, individuals, as they decide to engage in a business, to start a business, some of the decisions include the model, right? How will we go about doing this, right? Who will we bring along with us, if anyone, right? What will be our focal point? What will be our vision, our mission, etc.? So there's lots of choices and decisions to be made in the very early stage, and so we've seen that. And if you're honest with yourself, there's still things that you don't know as you start the journey, right? Until you've actually accomplished it, right? Until you actually have closed a chapter, you don't really know what the next is. You have ideas, you have plans, right? But things can change. Today I was planning to go out there and do leaves today, right? Woke up this morning to snow, right? So that changes your plans. That wasn't being called for, but hey, it is what it is. So now you have to make your adjustments, right? And that's life, right? And that's exactly how it is here, and what Mr. Ashmafar and his family have encountered over the years, to get us to where we are right now. So definitely there were decisions to be made in the early part. You could even say some mistakes were even made in the early stages, because again, that's life, that's reality, right? That's reality. You will make mistakes along the way. There will be failures along the way. There will be issues along the way, right? All these things is part of life. That's part of the process, right? But the bottom line is, what happens when you get to the end? What happens? Do you actually accomplish your goals? Do you actually have a thriving business? Do you have a business that you can leave as a legacy, etc.? Right? Because that's the most important thing. It's not so much how you start, right? But it's the entire process all the way through, right? That makes the big difference. And so I'm certainly glad to be on this journey, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. And, while we were talking about, and I know you mentioned about it, that you and I and so many people are glad to be here because of the decision that he made at the earlier time. The decision can make or break a business or a relationship. However, at the very beginning, he has already made a decision to take along some of his friends, which is then became millions, and not just a few friends, right? And so that prudent decisions that he made years ago, giving us a chance to be here, and then other people are coming along the way. Those decisions that he made for us to be here, and the decision for us to joining in with him to be here, have changed our life forever. It has changed my life forever, Michael. And so I'm also glad to be here, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. And I'm sure thousands, hundreds of thousands of others are certainly glad to be here on this journey, because as we look around and even roll back the clock and look and think, Julie, of the various opportunities or businesses, programs, platforms, whatever it may be that you've been a part of, what was the success level like? The percentage of people who are actually winners, people come out there, shining, right? And it's always a handful. And for me, I've always had a problem with that, Julie. I've always had a problem, being in a situation where, okay, we're in this business. Why can't everyone succeed? At the end of the day, we just need to sell some products. And if we can do that, we all should win. If the products are any good, chances are there's a demand for it. So why can't we sell? And so we've come to realize that, yeah, selling is an art, right? It's not just something that everyone can do. Just like not everyone can be a doctor. No matter what you may want to tell yourself, well, you can be anything you want to be in life. It's not true. People say it, right? People promote that, but the reality is it isn't true, right? Not anyone and everyone can be the prime minister of Canada. Not anyone and everyone can be the president of the United States, and so on. Okay, it isn't true. So we have to realize that when we get into a situation with ONPASSIVE where everyone can actually win, right? That's a completely paradigm shift. It's something that is totally different, because take another business and examine it and see if that is the case, right? No matter what level, no matter what industry you want to talk about, right? You have in the corporate world, how many companies have failed, right? So, and when companies failed, it means that employees, they also failed, because now they have to go find a new job. Okay. There's loss of income and so on. Right. But that's the reality in life. So when Mr. Hash decided to go down this pathway and to create a business that's inclusive, right? A business that includes every single person around this world, whoever makes the choice to be a part of it, that's a game changer, Julie, because everyone in will actually win. And that's the bottom line for all of us. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see just myself and a few others. No, we want to see every single person that have come into ONPASSIVE to finally win, right? Get that victory that they've been looking for all their life, right? And so that's what excites me the most in OnPassive, is the ability that, yes, we all can say that we made the right choice. We made the right choice to get into OnPassive. We're still making the right choice to stay with OnPassive, to continue to be patient, let the process unfold, so that we can get to raising that trophy, Julie, right? There's nothing like raising a trophy after a victory, after a championship. I certainly love that experience. And that's how I look at OnPassive, seeing it has, this is the championship, right? And who the winner is going to be, Julie, right? It's not like you're going into a match and, okay, it could be A, it could be B. No, right? Every single person OnPassive is a winner. And that's what I'm so grateful and thankful for being a part of this journey.
Absolutely, Michael. Let's talk about the locations of OnPassive business offices. They make a decisions to have locations in India, in UAE, and then in Egypt, in the US, in Singapore. I mean, all these decisions that they have to make, they have to literally translate strategic directions into actions, and then the decisions to on how to get all these done. How do they pick these type of countries or offices to have their locations? There has to be a strategize. There has to be a long-term decisions into what country to have offices in. And I think it's incredible how great we have these offices in these high tech company, Michael. High tech
Absolutely.
countries, actually, in
Yeah,
countries.
high-tech countries, absolutely. And this is what you want in a futuristic business, right? We have to look at the climate, right? Look at the business environment, and we see that all these tech giants, where are they located? Where do they have offices? And so OnPassive wants to be at the forefront of everything where digital products are concerned, artificial intelligence, products that are infused with AI. We want to be at the forefront of that. And so it makes sense, Julie, that we would be in Dubai. It's just a natural fit. That we would be in India. It's a natural fit. It just makes sense. That we'll be in the USA, right? So, and obviously the other countries as well, Egypt and Singapore, right? So the company is certainly making all the right decisions to put us in a position to succeed. The whole idea of doing all the branding throughout Dubai, a place where millions upon millions of people go each year, and they go back to their own country, and they're bringing back whatever it is that they've seen while they're there on their trip, right? And we've seen this. We've seen, random YouTube individuals who are making a video about Dubai as an example, and somehow OnPassive is in there based upon where it's strategically placed ads and signs, throughout the country, right? So, we have to realize that there is a brilliant mind at work, right? And more than just one, right? We're not just talking about Mr. Ashmafar. We're talking about all of the executives that are there, brilliant individuals that are making the right decisions, Julie. And this is all for our success. It's all for our benefit, right? This is all for our future, right? And so when you have a company that's looking out for others, not just for themselves, not just about, well, how much revenue that we can generate, it makes a world of difference. Right now, my wife is watching this show called Painkillers, right, on Netflix. And it's just amazing to see how, companies and individuals make billions of dollars of selling something, right, under the guise of helping people. But in reality, so many lives are being destroyed. So many people are being, become addicts, right, as a result of, got into an accident, and now they have to take pain meds. And then from there, they get addicted to it, and so on. It's just amazing when you hear the actual story of how it all started and what's behind it and how it all works, Julie. It just blows my mind. And I always look at stuff like that and I compare it to OnPassive. What is OnPassive doing? Is OnPassive helping, right? Or is OnPassive, putting people in debt? Is on passive, tearing apart family? You know what I mean? I look at these things and all I see, Julie, and it's, we're not a cult or anything. Okay, let me just throw that out there, right? But all I see, Julie, is just an opportunity where people can come in and enjoy all that they see, okay? And they have benefits, they have rewards to gain for being involved, Julie. And to be able to, change people's lives around the world, it's not something that is easy to do. It just isn't. And it's not the norm because most people don't want to do that unless there's money in it for them. Unless there's something in it for them, they're not trying to do anything in a positive way. And that's what we see in Unpassive is just positivity. And that makes a huge difference to the world for me, right? And for my family. Because that's what we want to be a part of, Julie. Something that is going to change people's lives as opposed to, creating divisions, right?
Absolutely, Michael. I love the fact that you touch on the next point that I want to bring up is cause and effect.
Mhm.
When we make decision, we tend to explore, our options, which is if we do this, this will happen, right? We want us to see how effective is it out. I mean, when you make decisions, you got to see how effective it is, right? And is it going to the decision that you make? Will it bring up the most productive result, or it just things that you make decision without even thinking about it? Like, we can go through our day, our business, making decision that sometimes we don't even pay attention to it, but these are the kind of decision that can make it, that can make a business or not. So it does involve the cause and effect to it. Particularly the decisions of running on passive show on the Burj Khalifa, right? The decision on getting partnerships with a different company, different countries that makes massive result, that make massive effect. We'll get that get more eyes to see what on passive is about. And so I think those decisions that they're making actually very hard decisions.
And there's no doubt about that. But it's also to get the biggest bang for your buck, Julie, right?
That's
And so, the company is spending a lot of money on all of this, right? But they know the end result. They know, the traction, right? They know the amount of visitors that will come, the amount of eyes that will actually see and get to know all about on passive, from the inside, right? This is why the company made a brilliant decision to offer free products, right? So people can get a free account so they can come inside and take a look, right? At no risk to them, no cost to them, right? And that is beautiful, Julie. It doesn't, you don't have to say, well, let's just give it to them for $10 so they come in. No, let it be free. Let them come in. If they love what they see, they're going to stay with us, right? And so again, that's another strategic decision to be able to offer that to people around the world. The various products choices, to have, O Connect, right, as an example, right, of one of the products that we have, right, an audio video conference webinar platform, right, and to be able to provide it at such a value, right, such values that you're given, right, for such little cost. You understand? So that more and more people can have access, that they can be able to access the product and use it, right? To be able to get into, online learning, right? When we be talking about Academy, right? Because again, that's an expanding market. That's a market that's going to continue to grow and grow, especially given the state of the environment around the world. So, all these different things, Julie, the company's making wise decisions, to be able to give people options, right? It's not just here's one product, that's all you have. No, right? Here's multiple free products. Here's multiple paid products. You can pick and choose, right? You can decide. You can make that decision as what's best for you, right? So, again, the company is always thinking about the end users, always thinking about the customers, more so than even about the company itself. All the company wants to do, all OnPassive wants to do, is to make sure there's enough there so that they can sustain themselves, right? The company can be sustainable for many, many, many generations to come, right? But at the same time, make it as cost effective as possible to the end users, to the customers, them, so that they receive the actual benefit. So all these decisions that are being made, Julie, are just top notch. The company knows what they're doing. There's a plan in place, and so we just continue to roll with that plan, knowing that somebody's got our backs, and that's good. It's always good to know someone's got your back, Julie, no matter what the situation is, right?
Absolutely, Michael. I'm sitting here thinking, did you steal my brain today? Because you literally brought the point that I want to bring up. It's crazy how we think.
That's
The
because
step.
we're interconnected, Julie.
Yes, absolutely. We are interconnected. I'm glad that you brought up the product and also the decisions on making what makes it available first, what type of products to makes it available first, what type of function, what need to be add on at this point. In particular, you brought on O Connect. At the very beginning, O Connect didn't have those functions that we just actually get to explore in the last 2 weeks. And then not only that, not only the product itself, the functionality of it, what makes it available. Should I take this one first, makes it more effective, and then other functions are coming. And then the product package itself. Instead of making a decision to bring everything out so that people having a hard time to choose which is which, but he make O Connect as a very first product to come out for us to explore. And then there was more to come. So the effectiveness of this decision that making, I'm loving it, where I just know that all I need to do is get O Connect right now and then worry about the rest later. Actually, I don't need to worry because he worry about that for us.
Well, sometimes in life, we have too many choices,
Mm.
right? And then, we start to analyze too much, right? And sometimes we procrastinate as a result of that, right? So there's a clear path, right? There's a clear path in order to become successful, right? And so ONPASSIVE is taking us down that path, okay? Bit by bit, not, here's everything all at once. Using the analogy of food, right? Going into a restaurant and you're getting let's say a 5-course meal. They don't bring out all 5 courses at once, right? They take you down a path, right? Here's the first course, here's the second course, and so on, right? And that's what ONPASSIVE is doing. It's giving you, here's a bit, here's a bit, here's a bit. And then once everything is there in totality, that's when you have the complete automated system, Julie, right? So the company knows what they're doing, and it makes so much more sense to give it to us in little, bite-sized pieces that we can actually, absorb, right? Than to bring everything, and then that just brings confusion. Okay, do I get this first? Do I get that first? Like, what do I do? What's the next step? How do I go about it? No, here's one thing that you can work on, focus on. Okay, all right, got that going. Everything is good. Okay, here's the next piece, right? So we see that we had the free products them first, right? And there will be more free products. This is not just it, right? This is just in the beginning. Okay, here's one paid product. There will be more paid products. This is not just it. Okay, here's O Connect. Okay, there'll be other versions of O Connect, right? This is not just it. The company says, well, let's just wait another year until this thing is just full to the tilt, have all the super duper features. No, here is something that we can utilize right now, okay? But it's going to get better, okay? But it's something that we can work with right now, okay? And bit by bit, we had more pieces to it, okay? And get it to the level where the company wants it to be, and that just makes so much sense, Julie. And when the next product comes out, people will see and they'll start to get, put the pieces together and start to understand, right, why it makes sense to do it this way. Okay, then try to give everything all at once to people, and then it's like, oh, can't be bothered, it's too much. Let me move on to something that's much more simpler than that, right? So the company's helping us in the decision-making process by leading us down a particular path, and all we need to know is that that path leads to success, and that's what everyone is looking for, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. I want to talk about the decision that our team, tech team, Mr. Ash Mufara, and the entire executive team are making decisions in terms of which event to show up, which event to, or the relationships of the people that are they are connecting with. We know that in the last 2 weeks there was. Well, 10 days, that there was a show, and a GITEC show in Dubai. That was a very successful show. And then now they are in Egypt having this connection and this exhibit. Um, those connections, those relationships, those are the decisions that they make at the long time ago to have connections with the people that are going there, the people that organizing these events. And that's why it give us the opportunity to actually bring our brand out to the world. And there are important if you haven't watched the video that O Media is putting out, there's relationships. Who are those people that are attending those exhibit, talking about those relationship, Michael, the connections that we currently have with other countries around the world.
Yeah, and as you said, Julie, it is so important when it comes to branding, right? You want your products to be acceptable, right? You want there to be a demand for them, right? If nobody wants your products, you're not going to make any money, right? It's as simple as that. Okay. And so here you are as a new company. Okay. So you have to get people to like you, get people to trust you, and so on. Right. And so as you start to forge these relationships, not just on, let's say lower level, but the highest possible level within a country, right? If you can do that, Julie, then you're setting up yourself for success, right? You just can't fail if that's what you're doing. It's like, getting approval at the highest possible level in any circumstance is always a good thing, right? Because if you go at the bottom, and so, the bottom level, let's call it management, the bottom level management approves you, but then upper level management says, no, I don't think so. Upper level management will trump the lower level management, right? So you always want to start from the top. And that's what OnPassive has been doing over the years. We always talk about from one top to the next top to the next stop. We started out in a very big way. We started out with 1.4 million users, right? Customers. We built on top of that already to have more than 2 million customers and so on. So we're always starting at the top, Julie. And so the relationships that we're having now, whether it be through GITEX or whether it be through what's going on in Egypt right now, okay, it's just going to make the branding that much more stronger. It's going to create a greater reach, right, around the world. And when you do that, your products, because your name OnPassive will become a household name. And so when you have your own domain name, when you have your own business, okay, it's still powered by OnPassive, okay? And that's where the branding comes in, right? Anything that says OnPassive, OnPassive, OnPassive is connected to OnPassive in any way, shape, or form is going to be a good thing. And that's going to bring more traffic to you, okay, which means more potential sales, right? And ultimately, result in more money in your pocket, right? So again, it's a path, it's a process, right? And so the company is doing all of this for who, right? For us, okay? For all of us who are involved, for all the millions upon millions of customers that will be coming, okay? They're paving the way by making sure that we have all the right connections. We have all the right social influencers. We have all the right government influencers and so on, okay? That just makes sense. So when we go into a particular country, yes, OnPassive, yeah, we know about them. They're good. Give them the thumbs up and away you go. That's exactly what's going to happen, Julie. And OnPassive is taking the stage by storm.
Absolutely. I'll give you a break to drink some water, but what I'm sitting here observing, you're talking, and I love this topic so much, to the point where we have already been in the half of our talk, we've talked about the decisions, the result of the decisions that our company on passive, the executive team have been making for us to see the result, as we have mentioned. Now, the rest of our conversation today, I think we want to focus on talking about the decision, the choices that, as for us, you mentioned us as the early birds, at the affiliate, at the end user. We have such incredible treasure in our hand right now. What are our choices? What decisions do you make every single day, whether or not you are focusing on something that you have that is incredible, or you're, I guess, having several choices, or looking at something else. So let's talk about the decision that we as affiliates or early birds.
Sure. Well, the thing is this, Julie, you don't want to spend your life searching and searching and searching and searching and searching. Like, no one wants that. Okay. People are looking for a way out of the rat race, right? People are looking for a home, right? A place they can say, yes, I'm going to lay my roots down here. This is going to be my foundation. This is going to be my legacy, right? And so as people look and look and look and look, as I said earlier, it's failure after failure after failure after failure, right? And so when they come into ONPASSIVE, right, a lot of people tend to look at what they know. Well, I was in XYZ company and, this is how we did it. And we were up and running in 90 days. And okay, but did you make any money though? Like, because you joined the company to make money. That's the bottom line, right? Did you make any? Were you successful in that company? And the answer is no for most people. And then went to the next one and the next one. And then and it's the same results, same results, same results, same. So when you come here now and you want different results, okay, you don't want the same results. So then you should not expect that things should be done the same way it's been done in these other companies that you were with. It just wouldn't make any sense. Like, why would you come over here and see the exact same thing being done and expect to have a different result from the last time or the time before that? And doesn't make any sense at all, Julie, right? So what I expect over here is to see things being done differently. And that's exactly what I'm seeing, right? Things are not the same. The company's not run the same way like other companies, okay? The model is not the same like other companies, right? Everything, the vision, the mission, the whole idea of want to uplift humanity, all of that, the whole idea of having Obless as a forefront, right? Being able to put things in place where people can contribute to charities that are near and dear to their heart, right? People may have causes, okay, that they want to contribute towards, support, etc. Put that in there, helping us as individuals, build up our mindset, to have that mindset of giving, to be a giver, right, than a taker, Julie. Like all these things, teaching us how to be patient, right? Teaching us how to be kind, right? All these things ONPASSIVE is doing, whether people realize it or not. Bringing people out of their comfort zone, right? Helping people to be more vocal, right? Helping people to be more visible, right? All these things, Julie, is happening right here in ONPASSIVE, right? We've seen, relationships being forged within ONPASSIVE, so when we look at all of that, Julie, we can see where we, the early birds, where we stand to benefit because we were able to see the process. So we can be assured of what's going on, right? We know, yes, we went from A to B to C. We've seen all of this, right? Everything is being shared, the full transparency, right? So that we can be confident that, no, we're not here in vain, right? We're actually here and there's benefits to be received. But you have to go through the process, okay? You don't just go sow a seed right now, and then an hour later, you know what I mean? You have this, huge oak tree, right? It just doesn't work that way, okay? But you plant that seed, give it some water, you nurture it, you take care of it, you give it some time, okay? And what happens, okay? The end result is something that's beautiful, right? And that's exactly what we have in ONPASSIVE. We got in, right? And we had the decision to make, Julie, whether we want it to be passive. So just, oh, I'm in, just sit back, relax, and just let the company do everything. I'll just wait and see what's going on. Or I could have been active. I really believe in this. It makes sense to me. Let me see, who I can get to come along for the ride with me, right? So we had that opportunity as well. Okay. And here we are now. We still have that decision to make, right? Because we can sit back and relax and just wait, right? Or we can also be active and be sharing with others. Says, you know what? I've been in this company now for 2 years or 3 years or whatever time it has been, right? And this is my experience thus far, right? And I'm encouraging you to come along because we are actually going somewhere beautiful with this. Okay, this company is going to touch a lot of lives in a positive way that has never been done before. Would you like to be a part of that? Come on in for free. Put away your credit card. Just come take a look at what this incredible company is doing, right? I mean, it's as simple as that, Julie. It's nothing complicated. I don't have to be no tech genius or know how to create this and create that and none of that stuff. It's really simple. Come, get a free account, take a look, see what we're all about from the inside. Don't look from the outside. Come in on the inside and take a look so you can see what the actual facts are, and then you can make that decision for yourself now. Okay. So we still have choices to be made even at this stage, Julie. And my choice is always to continue to stay focused. Not to be looking here, there, and everywhere else, because there isn't anything out there. Let's be real. There just isn't. And if people are truthful, people says, oh, well, you can join this, but make sure you only put money in that you can afford to lose. What kind of nonsense is that? What kind of advice is that, Julie? So you're telling me that I can probably lose my money, right? Yeah, but only put in what you can afford to lose. I'm not trying to lose, right? I am not trying to lose. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's 50 cents. I'm not trying to lose. I want to win. So I can tell people confidently to come into ONPASSIVE because they're going to win. I cannot guarantee if they're going to make $1 or $5 or $10, but I know they're going to win, Julie. Okay. And so all they have to do is get in and enjoy the ride. And there's so much to be said about that. But let me pause for now.
Absolutely. When you are in ONPASSIVE, in my own belief, that my own suggestions too, that you got to remove all the filter in the middle. When you look at ONPASSIVE, it has to be a clear way 2020 vision, right? You got to remove all the past experience or the company that we've been with. We can't just put the filter in the middle of you and ONPASSIVE, because ONPASSIVE it's clear. Think of it like a baby. It has to have time to fuzz a little bit, right? And it has time to literally just kind of lift up his head a little bit, right? Flip over, crawl. And then, it takes steps. It's not about, just like what you said, you putting a seed on the ground. An hour later, you can't expect to have a plant growing out of there, right? So when you're looking at ONPASSIVE, it has to be a clear 2020 vision as nothing in between, in order for you to see ONPASSIVE in its own clear and transparency way, so that you get to understand the vision of ONPASSIVE. You get to understand the product, the whole entire vision of ONPASSIVE. And that's the only way. When you are in ONPASSIVE, if you are looking at ONPASSIVE, but then you have all these fuzzy way things around and all these filter around, you won't be able to see that ONPASSIVE there for you. It is a prize. It is a treasure that will change everyone's life. And so in my own suggestion to everyone, when you're coming into ONPASSIVE, you have to have that mentality of seeing it at its own, I guess, vision, as its own creation, not with anything else, that fuzzy things around it. And in order for you to understand ONPASSIVE and once you get to understand the vision of what ONPASSIVE is creating, boy, for me at the very beginning, Michael, I didn't get to see it, but when I realized and when I see it, I said to myself that I am literally sitting on top of pot of gold, like diamond, whatever the most treacherous thing in life. I am sitting on top of it, like that. how I see unpassive. It's something that is the most treasured things ever in life that created ever. And that's the reason why unpassive is the right choice. And I choose to stay, and I choose to stay focused on it, because that's how clear I am when I look at unpassive.
Well, you must have really good eyes, Julie. If that's what you're seeing when you look at on passive. And that's a good thing because that's exactly what it is. It really is the only way. People are looking for solutions.
Mhm.
The solution's right here. It's right in front of you. So that means I don't need to look anymore, right? That's what people have to understand. There's nothing but good news in on passive as far as I'm concerned, right? Nothing but good news, right? We know that it takes time. We know that we've been here for some time already, right? And we know that we've, barely opened the doors, okay? And we know that things will continue to get better. So as long as things are going in the right direction, Julie, I'm good, right? I'm good, right? I'm comfortable not looking for something else. I'm comfortable knowing that all that I ever wanted, right, financially, right, is right here. It's right in front of me. So why would I go look somewhere else when it's right here in front of me, right? Not at all, right? So it only makes sense to just focus on what's there in front of me, not the whole idea of the grass is always greener on the other side, because that's not true. Okay, if you if you want to have green grass, well, what do? You water it, give it some fertilizer. You know what I mean? Take out the weeds that are in there, right? You take care of it. Okay, and so that's what we're doing. We're taking care of our business. We're taking care of on passive because on passive is very very green, right? It's very very green. So as we continue to move forward, Julie, right? People are going to be amazed. People are going to be like, wow, I kind of believed it, but now that I see everything, wow, right? There's going to be a lot of wows going around because on passive is going to be that family dynasty that people have been trying to build for years, right? And here, it didn't take a lot of effort, Julie. It didn't take a lot of effort because we know the majority of people inside here cannot sell. We already know this, right? We know that they can't invite even their best friend into unpassive, right? We get that. We understand that, right? And this is why the company has CATMO. We've talked about CATMO before, but it's important for people to remember that. And so when you can automate things, Julie, right? When you can take software and let the software do the work for you, it's a huge difference. There are people who trade, for example, and so they use certain software. And I'm talking about, robots or automatic traders. I'm talking about tools that they can use to help them make decisions, okay, on which trade to take, which trade not to take, and so on. Okay, so these are tools to help. Okay, well, guess what? On passive is like that in that you have tools that's going to help you within your business. Okay, it's going to help you to grow your business. It's going to help you to minimize the cost of running your business, right? If you can do that for business owners, Junie, that alone is a win. If you can help business owners save money, it's a win. Okay, so on passive is putting forth all the right tools that's going to allow business owners to save a ton of money, right? And at the same time, have more value than tools that they're using even right now. So that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. And again, part of the decision making that goes into the company deciding on what to offer to the marketplace, right? They know what's out there, they know what makes sense. And so therefore they go to work and put it together in such a way that it's value oriented, right? And so when you do that, Julie, you can't do anything else but win. That's what we have in on passive. And I think when people really realize what they have inside their hands, Julie, as you talk about a gold mine, you talk about a diamond mine, a treasure. This is it. This is it. And this is why we say that on passive is the only way, because it's it. This is what you've been looking for. This is what your grandparents were looking for. Okay. And this is what your children will be able to have for themselves as you have now paved the way and making this a legacy for them that they'd be able to continue for more generations to come.
Absolutely, Michael. The questions here for everybody is that ask yourself, have you ever been or involved in, or you yourself creating something that unlimited, creating something that you can set it and then walk away and come back, check a few things and do the few stuff, um, that it's still happening for you. I'm not talking about today. I'm not talking about a month, but I'm talking about the journey. Everything that is happening in on passive is leading to the way where you can set it, you can automate your entire business, right? Can and it can goes wherever you want, unlimited, right? Where you don't have to spend arms and legs, like cost so much to be able to run this entire business. And so those are the things, those are the kind of questions we ourselves have to make, right? Have to make decision every day. Am I involved in something where I can get a chance to build my legacy? I can be free. I can focus in on my passion. Listen, guys, I'm right now taking a study for real estate, right? I have a test coming up on the 17th. I am doing that because of a passion. It's not because I have to do it. I don't have to do it because I have on passive. But why am I doing it? Because I believe that I will have a chance to focus on my passion of what I love to do. Study, learning, get to know about real estate, helping other people to fulfill their dream of owning a home, right? So those are the things that we are doing. The decisions that we make today literally will affecting us, maybe not immediately, but it affecting our futures. So the decision that we are making today needs to have care, love, and a long-term effect, right? Remember cause and effect. You do this, things will happen. And so the decision is we are here, we are with on passive, and that's what we're focusing on, and that's what I am focusing on the rest of my life, because I know on passive not only will change my life, but it will give me the power, the ability to change others people's life as well. And so the question to our listener is, whether or not you know on passive or not knowing on passive, what is your decision? What is your focus, right? Knowing the fact that everything that Michael and I have listed here at the very beginning, knowing the fact that that is on passive, what are we going to do? What's decision you make, right? Whether or not to stay focused or to let everything's around us, what happened in the world affecting us.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, focusing on real estate, right? The thing is, when on passive provides you time freedom, financial freedom, like what are you going to do with your time,
Mhm.
right? And so you're going to have individuals that will do exactly what you're doing, and that is to know, okay, you know what, I really love this, and I wish I could do it, but because money was always an issue, right? I have to do this other job in order to pay the bills, etc. So I never really could focus on my passion, right? What I really love in life. So people be able to, dream again, Julie, right? Whatever that may be, whatever it is that they feel, they were put here to do, whatever it is that drives them, if they had the opportunity to, right? So people be able to focus on those things. This is not, we're not saying, okay, now you have time freedom and financial freedom, so you sit around your home, put your feet up on a hammock, and you're not doing anything all day. You're just gonna just eat. No, people are gonna be doing stuff. Some people want to run marathons, as an example. But because in order to train for it, it takes a lot of time and effort and all of that. It costs to get the proper nutrition and all these things, right? To travel to various places where the meets are being run, etc. So people are unable to do what they really want to do in life. Most people don't like their jobs, Julie. Most people, if they had a choice to quit tomorrow, they would, right? But they can't because they need it in order to pay the bills, right? So when you have time freedom along with financial, because we know there's some people who are not working and they have time freedom. Okay, that's not good. Okay, we're talking about time freedom and, okay, so in conjunction, right, and, right, financial freedom. So once you have both of those things put together, that's what we talk about when we say total freedom, right? And so once you have that, now you have the freedom to do what it is that you really want to do, whatever that may be. Some people go back to school, Julie. You know what? I really wanted to be a teacher, so now I'm going to go back to school and do it because I'm not doing it for the money, right? Oh, I really wanted to be a lawyer, but you understand? Some people just want to be in school. I just love being a student. I just love to learn. And I want as much knowledge. And so people will go back and especially with Academy, right? Be able to, get a lot of different degrees and what have you online without leaving their home. So there'll be so many different things that people be able to do, Julie. Those who want to volunteer their time, and again, if you don't have the financial freedom, how can you truly volunteer your time as much as you'd like? Because you still have to make time to go to job to pay the bills. Okay, so when all that is taken care of, now you can spend time doing the things you want to do. Maybe you have children who participate in sports and you're unable, to attend with them. You're unable to see them live, etc. You have financial freedom. They have the time freedom. Now you're able to travel as needed to be able to spend quality time with your family, right? And so on. Maybe your thing is, well, I want to, visit, this country, that continent. I was unable to do so because the finances wasn't there. Whatever the case may be, the point is, people will be able to turn to their love. And when you're doing something that you love, it's far more fulfilling than just doing something because of money or just doing it because I have to, pay the bills, etc. When it's something that you really care about, now you're going to put your whole heart and soul into it, Julie, and you're going to feel that much more fulfilling, when you're able to do that. So again, all of that ONPASSIVE will be able to offer for people. So again, it is the place to be, Julie. It's the only way. It is your one-stop shop. This is all you'll ever need. It's a done deal.
Yeah. It's all boils down to that we have so many choices to make in our life, right? And this is how I tell my children, you have options, you have choices, but when it comes to making decisions, you have to make your decisions with consciousness, with making conscious decision, because certain decisions that you make, it'll be okay, but certain that decision that you make, you will either regret the rest of your life, or the decision will change your life forever. And so it's all boiled down to is make your decision and put some consciousness into it, and so yeah, I think today's topic is a really good topic, and I really enjoy having this discussion with you, Michael. And so let's send everybody out there to the world, make good choices,
Yeah,
focus on decisions
absolutely.
that will give you the total freedom. Focus on decision that will make your life better. I do imagine, Michael, that there's billions of people are in ONPASSIVE ecosystem where it is harmonized. It's free, and people focusing on what they love to do instead of what they have to do, like dragging themselves every morning to get up and go to work, instead of they have the decision to be in the ecosystem and enjoy what the whole entire like Susie McCrae say, the oasis of ONPASSIVE. And that's where happiness or passion uh, we found.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I always say my passion is my family.
Mhm.
I've always said that, and it's it may not be true for everybody, but for me it is, right? To be able to get up at 5:30 in the morning to take my daughter to school, like every day, I enjoy that. It's like, oh, here we go again. No, I look forward to doing that. Number one, we spend quality time in our trip, to school, right? And it gets me to start my day a little earlier, and to be able to have the ability to put her into that particular school. In all these things, Julie, it just makes sense, right? That you want to be doing, what makes you happy in life. And so every day I have a smile on my face in the morning. I go to bed at night, I have a smile on my face. You know, that's what life is about, right? Life is about being happy. It's not about being sad. It's not about being in pain. It's not about, being in poverty. It's none of those things, Julie. You know what I mean? That's just other people, bringing those things upon you. But it doesn't have to be that way. And so Unpassive is here to show people that, yes, it does not have to be that way. We can make a difference in the world. We can change lives. We can uplift all of humanity, not just one or two or three individuals, but every single one who make the choice to get involved with us, because there's nothing but goodness inside of Unpassive. Okay, people come in and they'll find the highest level of integrity within Unpassive. They will not find another set of more caring individuals out there than in Unpassive, because we actually really care about people. It's not lip service. It's not something that we say to sound good or whatever the case may be. No, right? We say what we mean, Julie, and we mean what we say. That's how we roll in Unpassive, and Unpassive is here to stay. And so many people will be better because there is and was an Unpassive.
Absolutely. That's a topic that I didn't bring it up here of it's health, the choice of staying healthy, but that's probably maybe another topic that we can talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us. We do hope that you enjoy this conversation. We do hope that you can take some values of what we share here to use it for your own life and share with others as well. If you do enjoy this episode, please go ahead and subscribe and share that with your friends or your team or family, whatever you feel like. And we are looking forward to see you and to actually not we're not seeing you, but looking forward to be with you next week on Monday again. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here. Thanks, everyone.
My pleasure as usual. Take care, everyone.